Rebel. Reject. Create.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the Rebel, Reject, Create podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Pinar Karaaslan. Oh, not very good, Karaaslan. And Pinar is an actress and actually an occasional yoga teacher, and she's based
and a designer.
and a voiceover artist and a volleyball player. And we're going to be chatting today about how she does what she does. So, Pinar, first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. When I was going through my list of people I wanted to chat to this year, I kind of thought to myself, why didn't I speak to you earlier, actually? Because you're the first actress that I've had on the podcast. So when did you first realize you were a creative human being?
Oh, interesting question. I don't know. I think, I started acting when I was 12, in a school production. But I remember, whenever I was studying for, any lesson actually, but mainly history, to be able to memorize I grew up in Turkey, and it was mainly about memorizing everything, the whole education system. So whenever I was in the process of memorizing everything, I would just, especially in history lessons, I would act them out.
Huh.
And I would remember, the dates, as if I were memorizing a script, actually.
Right.
And then eventually I started putting them up as shows at home. And one day my uncle just said, "You're such an actress." And I was like, "Oh.
Is that a thing?"
Maybe I am. Maybe that's what I'm doing. That was the first answer that popped up in my mind. So probably that is the answer. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as an adult, if you look back at what you were doing, what would you say is the specific benefit of dramatizing a history lesson?
I'm a very visual person, but at the same time, I'm really good at words. I think I was just visualizing everything in front of my eyes while I was memorizing the whole thing and creating this whole experience for myself to start with. And that was just helping me out to, as an actor, I said, but maybe you don't. As an actor, you empathize a lot, and you're dying to understand, the human condition, the connections and everything, why we do what, the whole psychology behind it. So I guess it was helping me process in understanding what happened in the past. And at the same time, maybe rationalizing their very bad decisions in most of the time. Yeah.
So by creating a script, let's call it that for now, and stepping into the role, you were able to understand what happened and therefore not forget it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The power of storytelling, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Now, today, you do that. You're an actress, but you're also a storyteller. How do you make sure that when they shout out action or whatever it is they do these days, and you've just got to turn on this thing, how do you make sure that actually happens? Do you have a ritual or a routine?
No, not really. What I do is I really lose my mind. Myself in the script, and I have answers for the character as the character, and by the time I'm on set, most of the time, let's say, I know who I am, I know what I want, and it makes sense to me. So once I get there, before hearing action, what I do is before shooting any scene, I just remind myself what my moment before is.
Oh.
And from there, I have my specific emotional memories, and then I trigger them all my buttons. And then once they say action, I'm there.
Yeah.
My
Wow.
explanations and yeah.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. It immediately made me think of Stephen King's book on writing, where he says how he manages to write every single day for 3 hours is he rereads the last couple of paragraphs of what he wrote yesterday, and therefore puts himself back into the emotional moment and knows exactly where to carry on. That's pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah, the moment before, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. The two very different disciplines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is like, as a creative, noticing how most of the disciplines have actually very similar patterns, but just naming them differently. It's just really fascinating to, notice, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, what would happen if you relocated that to a business brainstorming session?
Like you could, I have a cat, if you haven't noticed yet.
Mine's also squeaking in the background, so.
I think it is about, I don't remember the terms. I used to work in the corporate world for several years, so like those very specific terms I don't remember anymore. But once you have a case, you do technically just create the space, create some personas, and then give them some characters or and behavioral patterns that you you could maybe rationalize, and then just hitting it from there. Like if that person is in this situation, how would they react? What would they do?
The whole brand backstory,
exactly.
The customer persona, the customer journey, user experience, that's all, it might as well be a script.
Yeah, who do I want to reach? Why do I want to do that? What I want them to do. And from there, creating this whole, story, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, your acting discipline would work very well in a corporate brainstorm session.
I think acting discipline would work wonderfully for any discipline.
Explain.
Or, any situation, really. And also I think everyone should take acting lessons. If they don't have money to go to therapy every week, I think they should just go to some acting lessons. Any type of technique. You learn a lot about yourself, a lot about your own patterns, why you're doing things the way you do or thinking the way you do. You understand yourself more. I'm not saying that you would be able to break all those patterns easily and then build new, bridges between those neurons, maybe, but you would at least grasp a bit of the core of you.
That's a really interesting perspective, because I think the stereotype, if people think about successful actors or actresses, is vain, self-involved, detached from reality, quite possibly the total opposite of what you just said.
Exactly. And it is really sad in a way. I mean, not that I care anymore, but when I was younger, I cared when I heard it. People usually think, oh, I can't trust you. You're an actor. I'm like, excuse me. I mean, if you are truthfully if you're an actor that's busy with herself, trying to understand herself and trying to understand a character, not just doing it to be in the center of attention, but really truthfully willing to touch people, move people with performances. Honestly, I can't act in my personal life. I wish I could. I would have a lot less trouble. Seriously. But yeah, I've heard it so many times from people oh, how do I know if you're acting or not?
Right. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, and then I'm like, maybe you need to be more curious to get to know me better, so that you would know that I'm truthful, I'm there, I'm authentic. Right. Or, we all have masks. When you look around, a lot of people are constantly acting. But actors know. Actors see, actors feel what's going on. And then maybe we're slightly better in, I'm going to say judging, but that's a very bad word. we're maybe reaching to the right answer a bit quicker than an average audience member, let's say, to see if someone is acting or not.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching this and you're enjoying our conversation, please hit the like button. Even better, click on subscribe so you can catch the next episodes after this, what is turning out to be a fascinating conversation with Pinar about acting and the use of that creative discipline. Yeah, Pinar, one of the things that really interests me is how, because of exactly these kind of stereotypes and myths, a lot of people don't think of creativity as a force for good in the world.
True. And they see creative people as problem makers.
Right. When in actual fact, we're problem solvers.
Exactly. We are entrepreneurs. We are the reason why things evolve.
Right. So for you, where you stand right now, is voiceovers, acting, presenting, what do you see as your role as a force for good via your creativity?
I mean, the reason why I act is because it makes me sane. And it is the playground where I feel most safe and where I feel like I'm fulfilling my life purpose. Because I always believe we are all here in this world for one thing specific. Like, there are a lot of people that are good at several different things, but I think there is one specific thing for everyone. And some of us are lucky enough to figure it out, and some of us are just searching, keep on searching because of maybe circumstances in life and how lucky we are with whatever we're given as a playground. So what I love most about acting is, like I said, it helps me to understand myself, and I'm a very highly empathetic person, so it helps me understand the people around me as well. And telling stories and moving people with that, just maybe helping them, not helping them, but like being there as a kind of light or organism where they can just have a moment with and have a, realization, let's say, of specific moments and feelings and situations. I don't know, I feel like I'm not a doctor, I'm not saving lives in that sense, but I'm an actor, and I think by moving people, I'm giving them some peace. Let's show them it's okay, or it's normal, it happens to all of us. I don't know.
I like that answer. I'm busy reading the new Nick Cave book, which is not a memoir, a conversation. And he talks there about the importance and the power of music. And his answer to a similar question is actually quite similar to yours, is that it's incredibly important because of what it gives people in the moment in terms of realization, holding a space, providing an emotional limb.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. And that gives everyone the chance to be different.
Exactly. And in the core of things, or like in the center of things, we're all going through similar experiences, maybe, even though they might be very different. But like, human is human. And the way we are, the way we feel is just, simple in a way. And you can find it all around in every story. Like, we're breaking down now, I'm taking this acting course, we're breaking down scripts, scenes, and then like the answers just are, I don't know, usually so similar, and the stories are so different. You're like,
I mean, there's that theory, right, that there's only actually 4 stories. So I like that. Now, you're also obviously, well, I don't know how obvious this is to everybody, but you're also an entrepreneur because you're an actor. Do you find that specific skill set actually helps you deal with the world of entrepreneurship, financial uncertainty, having to make it up as you go along sometimes, and so on?
I mean, of course, it's not always on my benefit, unfortunately. But it is good because, I mean, let's not forget that it is who I am. So if you start acting in a way or like being in a way which is not you, then you are in trouble because you never feel fine in your skin. So I don't have issues with that quality of mine that brings up problems, let's say, or like hurdles, or like, hinders, let's call them challenges, as marketeers would say in life. It's just, like in every situation you're given, there are always pros and cons in everything. And being an entrepreneur, I think I have a very jumpy character. I come up with like billions of ideas for everything possible. I'm a fixer. So I'm a true problem solver. And I really enjoy it. When I don't do it, I feel numb. So I think it makes me, think out of the box. And that gives me energy, even though it takes a lot of energy at the same time.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me. So, Pinar,
you should know.
Yeah. As someone's just watched this or heard this episode and they bump into you in the street and they go, "Oh, you're Pinar from the podcast. I can't believe you're so creative. What can I do to be more creative?" And you're only allowed to tell them one thing. What would you say?
Well, I'm also a designer and like product designer, and every great product is designed because there was a crucial need for it. So I would say, whatever that crucial need you have in your life, and I mean, it's not going to be an answer like, "Oh, I need money." No.
Yeah.
Maybe even that, now that I'm thinking. Whatever crucial need you have in your life, try to find ways of accomplishing it, fulfilling it, or like making it become not a need, but maybe a kind of force to make you move forward. I think that's what I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. No, I mean, I ask everyone a variation on that question, and the range of answers is always staggering. I mean, I really like that one. That's like, okay, so stop messing around with like whatever. What's the real thing that you want? And then
what's your real deal? Exactly. Like, but you have to be brave enough to ask that question to yourself. It's
right.
Nobody wants to face that, and which is probably why not everyone is going to therapy, because it is work. It is work. But then when you really, dreaming of something, then you really try. I mean, the drive in you, like, is just so tremendous that you don't have any other way than like being creative and finding ways to make it happen.
There isn't an obvious way in front of you. You have to find one or make one.
Exactly, within your power.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been listening to Pinar Karaaslan talking about her creativity and her acting and how she does what she does. If you've enjoyed what she's got to say, please check out the show notes. I've got all of her links to her social media channels as well as website, so you can go and find out more about her. And please don't forget to hit the like button and especially the subscribe button, because there is a new show coming soon to your digital device. So Pinar, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I've loved it.
Thank you. Time just flew by.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.